Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Newspresso, live on Moneycontrol with me, Stacy Pereira. In the next few minutes, we are going to be taking you through a lowdown of all the top stories across the globe, insights from what's happening within India Inc., and also the latest trends, giving you that edge and keeping you informed ahead of the others. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Rather mixed signals coming in from Wall Street, with the indices heading for a losing week. Investors bought up technology stocks during Thursday's session after the three-day breather from the market rally, pushing the tech-heavy Nasdaq composite higher. The S&P 500 is also looking in the green, but it was the Dow Jones that ended in the negative. All three major indices are set to break multi-week winning streaks. The Dow and S&P have lost about 1% and 0.6% respectively since the start of this week alone. The Nasdaq too is down about 0.4%. and is going to snap its 8-week winning streak to post its worst weekly stretch since April. Among the stocks that were above, shares of Apple were the ones that touched an all-time high, while Virgin Galactic, that stock fell nearly 14%, with news that the space tourism company has raised $300 million through a common stock offering. And in Asian markets, where Asia-Pacific markets have opened mixed, rather, with investors looking at inflation data that has come out of Japan as well as Singapore. Japan's Nikkei has tumbled 1.34%, while the Topix also has fallen 1.41%. Japan's core inflation rate in May has eased slightly to 3.2% versus the 3.4% on a year-on-year basis. South Korea's Kospi as well as Australia are right now also trading much lower. The Hang Seng opened about 1.5% lower as it comes back from a public holiday, dragged down by healthcare as well as tech stocks. Chinese markets, those are the ones that will remain closed for the public holiday. And European markets too ended a lower yesterday as the Bank of England opted for a more hawkish 50 basis point rate hike. The benchmark stock 600 closed 0.5% lower and managed to recoup some of its earlier losses. The banking stocks were the biggest drags, dropping over 2%. The index has posted declines in all 4 sessions so far this week. All major averages in the European region closed in the red. And while the Bank of England, that's the one that surprised markets with a 50 basis point hike in its interest rates. It's the 13th consecutive increase as policymakers grapple with that persistently high inflation. The Monetary Policy Committee voted a 7:2 in favor of the half-point increase, which takes the bank's base rate to 5%, which is pretty much in line with market expectations. Now, the recent inflation data, which showed CPI for May, has come in at 8.7%. This pretty much cemented market expectations that the MPC would opt for another quantum of 50 basis points. Now, this took the street quite surprised because the quantum is what they were not expecting. It was priced in for a 25 basis point hike. Now, interestingly, we also saw Turkey's central bank hiked interest rates to about 15% in a dramatic U-turn to fight inflation. Rates have almost doubled from 8.5 to 15%. The whopping 650 basis point rate increase in the country is the first since March of 2021. And to the corporate side, where we have chip maker Intel has decided to restructure its manufacturing business. Now, Intel said that the manufacturing business will work like a separate unit and will soon begin to generate its own margins. After the announcement, the chip maker shares dropped by about 5%. Intel hasn't shared a clear idea of when they will start scaling up their manufacturing, though Intel's internal business will have a customer-supplier relationship with the manufacturing business. This model will make Intel the second largest foundry by the end of next year, with a manufacturing revenue of more than $20 billion. An IT consulting firm, Accenture, that one has given out its forecast for the fourth quarter with revenues to be below estimates. Now, they have cited worries of rising economic uncertainty that could keep IT budgets tight and also prevent businesses from signing fresh contracts. Now, shares of the company were down about 3% in trade post the company's earning estimates were announced. Accenture also pointed out that lower than expected smaller deal sales as well as the revenue decline in the CMT vertical as its biggest concerns. And let's get all the action back home, but where Prime Minister Modi is in focus, but he's in focus because he is on his last leg of that US visit. Now, Modi had a packed schedule on day 2 of his state visit, completed by bilateral talks, addresses to the US Congress, and also that state dinner. Now, his address to the US Congress was a runaway success with multiple standing ovations. At the US Congress, PM Modi spoke of the shared values of democracy, equality and diversity. He also flagged India's fast-growing economic, rapid digitization and commitment to the environment that makes it a dream destination for investors.
When I speak about India's approach to the world, the United States occupy a special place. I know. Our relations are of great importance to all of you. Every member of this Congress has a deep interest in it. When defense and aerospace in India grow, industries in the state of Washington, Arizona, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania thrive.
Well, moving on then, a quick look at how the Indian markets performed, and seems like a new high was evaded by the Nifty in yesterday's session. The index slipped below that 18,800 levels, while the Sensex cooled off a day after hitting a new record. All sectors were the ones that closed in the red, led by PSU banks as well as IT stocks. We did see the mid-cap and small-cap too lose nearly a percentage point. Among stocks to watch out for and trade today, though, will be in focus Landmark Cars, which is likely to see a huge block deal. So that will be something to keep on your radar. And rating agency Fitch has raised India's GDP forecast from 6% to 6.3% for FY24. The growth forecast has changed due to the stronger outturn of the first quarter as well as near-term momentum. Now, the rating agency said that there has been a recovery in India's manufacturing after 2 consecutive quarterly contractions, and has also cited robust credit growth for the upward revision. Now, the FY23 growth forecast compares with the 7.2% of GDP expansion, as well as Indian economy that saw as a whole a growth of 9.1% in FY22. And to news coming in from the startup space, where 3 directors have resigned from EdTech unicorn Byju, as this is the after effects of the dispute with founder Ravindran. Now, G. Ravi Shankar of Sequoia Capital, which is now Peak XV Partners, Vivian Wu of Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, as well as Russell of Porus have resigned. Now, the resignations of these non-executive directors are yet to be accepted. Meanwhile, you also have Deloitte, one of the biggest audit firms in the world, who has tendered its resignation as a statutory auditor of Byju. Deloitte's resignation leaves Byju in a limbo, as the edtech company's FY21 results had outlined a number of irregularities with respect to the company's revenue recognition practices. And 2 Indian companies make it to the Times most influential companies list. This I'm talking about is Meesho as well as the National Payments Corporation of India have made it to the Times annual list of most influential companies. Meesho's founder Vidit Atre described the milestone as a huge validation of the company's efforts. Earlier this month, Meesho became the fastest shopping app to cross 500 million cumulative downloads, while the NPCI is an umbrella organization for all retail payments in India, which was founded back in 2008. NPCI launched UPI payments outside of India recently, where caters in countries like Singapore as well as the UAE have now started accepting payments through this UPI mode. And to news that has been in the headlines of late, some unfortunate news rather, after 5 days of that extensive search for the submarine, the Coast Guards have reported finding 5 big Titanic parts among the debris near the Titanic site. Now, the submersible, which was out there to have a look at the Titanic's remains, went missing deep beneath the sea on Sunday and had a limited oxygen supply for the 5 passengers on board to survive. And believe it or not, the world's most high-profile tech giants have agreed to have a cage fight. Musk tweeted that he will be up for a cage fight with Mark-Zuckerberg. In response, Zuckerberg, the Meta owner, posted a screenshot of Musk's message and wrote, "Send me the location," to which Musk has replied that his location preference would be Vegas Octagon. Now, the internet is obviously flooded with several tweets and memes from the users. But how serious is this cage fight? Well, Tesla's CEO is widely known for making statements that he is not so serious about. After the challenge tweet, Musk also tweeted, "I almost never work out except for picking up my kids and throwing them up in the air." So will these two tech giants have a showdown over the weekend? I can't assure you that, but well, we'll surely be tracking this trend for you all through the weekend. And a quick wrap of what you should be looking out for today. Well, for those interested in politics, the major opposition parties are meeting in Patna today on June 23rd. While there are some parties that might not participate, most of the major leading parties are making their way to Patna today. And with that, it's a wrap. Hope this dose of Newspresso was useful and informative and gives you that kickstart to the day, keeping you ahead. Don't forget to come back tomorrow. We'll be there at the same place, same time for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From everyone putting this together, thanks so much for tuning in.